Convection.
So, good afternoon all of you. In today's class, we will study the next concept, which is related to the second mode of heat transfer, which we used to called as. Understand? The second
Conduction.
transfer called as convection. What is that? Convection.
Convection.
This is called as convection. Spelling. So the first mode of heat transfer is called as what? First mode of heat transfer.
Conduction.
Mode of heat transfer
Conduction.
is conduction. Conduction, which will only takes place in where? Only takes place in
Solid items.
takes place in solids. The understanding?
Yes, sir.
So next, we are going to study the next type of the next mode of heat transfer, which we used to call as the second mode of
Convection.
heat transfer. Heat transfer, which we used to call as convection. Understand? CONVEC.
Yes, sir.
Convection takes place only takes place
In liquid.
in
Liquid.
and gases both. That is why liquids and gases. Understand?
Gases.
Liquids and
Yes, sir.
both it will take place. So this is only used to called as convection. So let us discuss a little bit in detail more. So let's start now. So what is the meaning?
Yes, sir.
So as we have studied already, understand the transfer of heat in solids. The transfer of heat in solids takes place by the process of conduction. So the transfer of heat which will take place in liquids and gases. Understand? Liquids and gases. That process is called as convection.
Convection.
Or convection. So we know three states of matter. In solids, conduction over. In liquids,
Yes, sir.
convection. Liquids and gases, both convection is happening. Then what about
Convection.
heat transfer? Radiation. It is somewhat different.
Radiation.
Without matter,
Yes, sir.
in vacuum, understand, if heat transfer will take place, that is called as radiation. That we will study in the next class. So let us comes to the convection means. Remember, what is the meaning of convection means? Convection is the transfer of heat from the hotter parts of liquid or gas to its colder parts by the movement of the liquid. Means, suppose, let us discuss what is the meaning of convection. Understanding? Suppose let us discuss if any gas or any kind of liquid, let us take, I am taking container. So what is the meaning of convection means? All of you observe very carefully. So here there is no exchange of understanding. Heat exchange by vibration of particles. Do you understanding, Hari, Mari? Here,
Yes, sir.
in solids, vibration will take place, but in liquids, particles are freely present. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So for example, let's take some gas or some liquid I have taken in this container. Understand? Now, if I will start heating, closed container, if I will start heating, where I will give the heat? Bottom or top? If I'll start heating,
Bottom.
so let
Bottom.
us heating this at the bottom, then what will happen means, observe very carefully all of you. So that is the Bunsen burner. So if we'll start heating, then these particles will gain the heat energy first. Is it yes or no? The bottom particles
Yes,
will
sir.
gain heat energy.
Yes, sir.
Still the top particles is not gain the heat energy. Is it yes or no? Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, once these will gain the heat energy, so these particles will start coming upwards. These particles will start coming upwards. So when these particles will start coming upwards, what will happen? These upper particles,
Evaporation takes place.
These particles will go down. These particles will go down. Do you understanding, Mari?
How, sir? How, sir?
These particles will gain energy. These particles will gain energy. Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
That their kinetic motion is more, so that these particles will come upwards, so that these upper particles will go down. Why? What is the phenomena behind? I will say, remember. Suppose let us take in the place of water. Let us discuss in detail. Suppose let me take some liquid in this beaker. Understanding? Or else in this bowl. So now, what is the density of this liquid? Density I have taught you. Do you remember? Density is equals to mass by volume. Do you remember? kilogram,
Yes, sir.
kilogram cubic meter, or gram cubic centimeter. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So remember, observe, before heating, this full liquid is having same density. Will you accept it, Mari, Hari, Kaushik?
Yes, sir.
Full liquid.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I'll start providing heating, the bottom particle which are close to the container, they will gain the heat energy first. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, if heat energy will increases, density will decreases or not? If heat energy will increases,
Yes,
particles
sir.
for each other. Correct or not? So,
So it will
yes,
float up, sir.
so as we know that
Yes, sir.
heat energy increases, what will happen? Understanding increases, then the particles will
Density.
gain the increases. Understanding particles gain the kinetic energy. Particles gain kinetic
Gain.
energy.
Kind.
Understanding kinetic energy, and they will start moving for each other. Is it yes or no? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Density will what will happen? Density will decrease.
Decrease.
So now what is happening, Mari? So if lower particles, because of heat, if density will decreases, so which particles will float? The low density particles.
The bottom particles. Bottom particles.
Because of decreasing density, these particles will start coming to the upper surface. Understanding? And what will happen, Ra? These upper particles having more density compared to this hot water molecule, so that this water will go down. Understanding, Ra? So like
Yes,
that,
sir.
replacement of water particles will take place continuously. So not only water, any liquid.
Sir.
Yeah.
So the upper molecules have the more density, so they will sink down, sir.
Down. Understand? Later,
Yes,
these
sir.
particles, understand that particles will gain the heat energy. So again, once they will gain the heat energy, they will go up. By the time these energy particles they have compared to that particles less energy, again they will come down. Like that, continuously going up, come down and gain the energy, going up. Again going down, and again they will gain the heat energy. Like that will happen. Understand, Mari?
Yes, sir.
Like that, continuously they will start exchanging their positions. Particles will move from one place to another place. So means hot understanding region to cold region. Particles will exchange. Understanding. So heat from the hotter parts of the liquids or gas to its colder parts by the movement of the liquid. Do you understanding, Ra? Heat will exchange by movement.
Yes, sir.
Particles move. That is only called as convection. So the transfer of heat by convection takes place only in liquids and gases, because in liquids and gases what is happening? Particles can move freely. Particles
Yes, sir.
freely packed, they are not tightly packed, so that they can understand move about freely. Do you understanding?
Yes, sir.
So that is the reason the particles of a liquid, understanding, or else any gas will take. Understand? So actually they will move from the hotter region to the colder regions. For what purpose? To transfer heat energy. Do you understanding? So always they will
Yes, sir.
travel
Sir.
hotter regions, hot particles of the liquid or gas to the cold regions. They will travel to transfer the heat energy, because
Energy.
so the transfer of heat in this mode, convection, cannot take place in solids. Because why, Ra? Because in solids,
But they are tightly packed.
particles are tightly packed, or else the particles in the solids are fixed shape. Understanding? They have a fixed position.
Yes, sir.
So they cannot move about freely. So that is why we can say transfer of heat, understanding, by convection only takes place, understanding, only takes place in liquids and
Gases.
gases. And same way,
Sir, this is in liquid, sir. Then in gases, another type of way is there, sir.
also same thing.
Another way.
Gas also same thing, Mari. Suppose this is the container, I have taken
Yes, sir.
gas particle. Okay, Mari?
Yes,
So
sir.
this is also same thing. So these if I start heating, understanding. So first these particles will gain the heat energy, so that they will start traveling into the cold regions to spread the heat energy. That's all.
Yes, sir.
Like that exchanging will take place. Understanding? So that is why I can say
Yes, sir.
convection is a transfer of heat. Convection is a transfer of mode of heat transfer. Only will takes place in liquids and as well as it will take place in gases.
Gas.
Understand?
Yes, sir.
It does
Yes,
not
sir.
take place. It does not takes place. Not takes place. Not will takes place. Understand? In solids.
Yes, sir.
Takes place in solids because why? Because solids having a fixed positions. What?
Closely packed.
Mostly molecules were packed, sir.
Understanding fixed position, so they cannot
Sir.
move. Understanding fixed position, they cannot move about freely. Understanding the fixed position cannot move, understanding freely. Do you understanding, Ra?
Yes, sir.
Also, convection does not takes place without understanding liquid and gas also. That is only
Yes,
does
sir.
not takes. It also not takes place. It also not will takes place. Not takes place. Understand? Will not required. Not takes place. Understanding in vacuum also. In vacuum. Do you understanding, Mari? Vacuum means empty space.
Yes, sir.
No matter. Understanding? No space, no matter. That is only we used to call as what? Vacuum. So
Vacuum.
without matter also, without liquid and gas also, it won't be takes place. So that is also very, very important. So understand. So convection also cannot takes place in empty space. Understanding? Because there are no particles of any kind, understanding, in empty space which can move to transfer heat. That is why we can say, understanding, no matter is present, so that no particles are, understanding, no particles are there to transfer heat. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
To transfer heat. So that is why I can say in empty space, or empty space also we can call it as what? Vacuum.
Empty space. Vacuum.
Convection will take place. No convection will take place.
Take place.
You understanding, Hari? No convection will take place.
Yes, sir.
Vacuum.
Sir.
So that is what you should remember. Now, from this we can say convection means where it will take place, Kaushik. Convection means where it will take
In
place.
solid and liquids.
Convection, I'm asking.
See,
Convection.
sorry, sir. Liquids and gas. Liquids and gas.
Not conduction. Conduction, only solids. Convection, liquids and gases. Understanding, Mari? So now you write
Yes,
the
sir.
definition. Kaushik, definition you write. Later we'll see convection in water. Definition, very, very important. You have to learn the definitions very well, Mari. Understanding, Hari, Kaushik? Write it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
transfer of heat. Convection is the transfer of heat. Convection is the transfer of heat. Convection is the transfer of heat from the hotter parts of liquid, from the hotter parts of the liquid, from the parts of the liquid. Is it only liquid or gas also? Bracket you can write.
Gas also, sir.
Gas also. Bracket you should write. From hotter parts of the liquid are gas to its colder parts. To its colder parts. To its colder parts by movement. By movement of water.
Movement of molecules.
Liquid or gas itself. Movement of the liquid or gas itself. You understanding, Mari? This is the definition. Please
Yes, sir.
do it. Completed?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is what you should note it down. Next point, you also note it down. So Convection also cannot take place in where? Empty space, or also we can call
In
it as what?
empty spaces. Vacuum.
Vacuum. So that point also you should note it.
Vacuum.
Understand? Convection only
Yes,
takes
sir.
place. Convection only
Convection.
takes place in liquids and gases. Liquids and gases. It does not takes place. Does not takes place in solids and as well as what? As well as
In liquid.
what, Mari? In liquids what? As well as empty space. Empty space.
Yes, sir.
Vacuum. What, Mari? Forgot, Vacuum. 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 Spelling. Remember. VACUUM. Vacuum. Is it okay, Ra?
Yes, sir.
That is. So convection. Convection only takes place in where? Only in liquids and
Only in liquids and gases.
does not takes place in solids and as well as in empty space. Is it okay, Ra?
Vacuum.
That is.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Right.
sir.
So this is all about the convection. So why it is taking place in only liquids and gases? Hari, Kaushik, Mari.
Because the molecules are loosely packed.
Because in liquids, molecules are loosely packed, sir. Liquids and gas.
Molecules are free to move so that it will take place. Is it yes or no? Molecules are free.
Yes, sir.
So that only it will take place. So now we will study, understand convection in water. Do you understand, Mari? Convection in?
Yes, sir.
Convection
Yes,
in
sir.
water.
Convection in water.
Keep heading. Convection in water. Because water is a what?
Water is a liquid.
Water is a liquid. That is why we will study what is the convection in water. Is it okay, Mari? So now,
Yes, sir.
as we know that water is a poor conductor of heat or good conductor of heat. Already last class I have taught you.
Poor conductor.
So lot of heat energy is required to transfer. Correct or not? Make it hot. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
we will take. Let us take now. So let us wait 1 minute. So now let us consider some amount of water in beaker. Understand here? Some amount of water in beaker. So if we'll keep it in gas, suppose in our gas,
Beaker.
and if we'll start heating, so what will happen? What will happen, Ra?
It will get heated up.
Heat the water directly directly keeping on gas stove? No, we have to keep it in
No,
beaker.
sir.
Because water is a shapeless, so we have to keep it in beaker or else some bowl. Then only it is possible to heat. Or else some vessel. Is it yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as we know,
Yes, sir.
water is a poor conductor of heat, so it cannot transfer heat by conduction. Will you accept it or not? Is it possible to transfer the heat by conduction?
No, sir.
Conduction. So because it is a very, very poor conductor, so now let us discuss understanding. If it is a poor conductor of heat, then and also it is a liquid, so we cannot transfer the heat by conduction process. So that is why we are going to a process called as what? A process called as what?
Convection.
Convection process. So let us discuss what is this convection and how it will take place in what. Is it okay, Ra? So now all of you observe the
Yes, sir.
picture which I will show you, then you people can understand more even better. Can you able to see this picture, Mari? Please observe. Can you able to see this picture?
Sir, no, sir.
Now you see. This is what. Okay, Ra? So now
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
what
Yes,
will
sir.
happen and how it will happen. So now, as we know that water is a poor conductor of heat, so we cannot transfer the heat by conduction. So that is why water transfers heat by the process of what? By the process of?
Convection.
That is what you should remember. So, as we know, water is a poor conductor. Understanding? Poor conductor poor conductor of heat. Understand?
Heat.
The process of conduction,
Yes,
heat
sir.
transfer. Heat cannot transfer, cannot transfer by the process of what? By the process of
By the
conduction.
conduction.
Conduction. So water can transfer the heat by what? By the process of, by the only
Conduction.
process of
Convection.
convection. So now that is what we'll study now. Understanding, Mari?
Yes, sir.
So now let us
Yes,
discuss
sir.
it in detail. So now that is why, as we know that we transfer heat by the process of convection. So in order to heat water, what we will do first? Suppose your mother will say you to keep water, heat the water. So what you will do now? So we'll keep the first. We'll take some vessel. Is it yes or no?
Yes,
So
sir.
the ultimate, primarily, everybody can do the same step. In order to heat water, we will keep the vessel which containing water over a, where we will keep. We will keep a gas stove or we will keep a gas burner. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So now we keep it exactly shown in the picture. So I have taken some container and I have poured, understanding, water in it. So I have taken, because my mother said to heat the water, so that I have taken some container which contains the water and I have placed it on where? I have placed on gas
A
burner.
burner.
Is it yes or no? So I have placed on gas
Yes,
burner.
sir.
Now, if
Gas
I
burner.
which part of the water will gain the heat energy first? The bottom part. Is it yes or no?
Bottom. Yes, sir.
Yes or no? So that is what will happen. How it will take place. Let us discuss more in detail. Now, though the burner is kept at the bottom of the vessel, you may see, but still the heat, all understanding, the still heats all the water in the vessel. Is it yes or no? Is it the only bottom part is heating, or is hot part, a top part also heating? If you heat the water,
No, sir.
complete
Bottom
water,
part will heat,
or is
sir.
only bottom part?
Bottom part will heat first, sir.
First bottom part will gain heat energy. But suppose if I will heat 10 minutes, is it only bottom part of water is heating or is full water is heating?
No, sir. Full water, sir. Immediately it will change the
Because
position.
of convection. So, as we know that we
Yes,
are
sir.
only heating, we are providing the heat at the bottom of the vessel, but still understanding that heats all the water in the vessel. But actually what is happening here means, when the water is heated in a vessel, it will transfers heat from its hotter parts, means just above the flame of burner, to its colder parts by the process of convection. Understanding, by the process of convection.
Yes, sir. Convection.
Yeah. Just above the understanding burner, this is what we have the water molecules. Is it yes or no? So let me take another color
Yes, sir.
so that we can understand more better. So now the water particles which are present just above the burner, that is only we used to call as water. What we should call?
Cold water above the burn.
Bottom part of the water.
Bottom water.
If these particles just above the burner, these particles will gain the heat energy. So this is only we used to call as, what we should call? Hotter part. Understand?
Hotter part.
Hotter part. Now, where is the colder part? Cold part. This is called cold part. Is it yes or no? Initially.
Yes, sir. Top, sir. Top.
So top part is called as cold part. Is that understand, Hari?
Yes, sir.
Now, so as we know that, understand. So just
Yes,
above
sir.
the flame of a burner, which we used to call as hotter part, so that from hotter parts to its colder parts, means at the top of the water, the understanding heat energy will transfer by the process called as convection. What is that process? Convection. Now,
Convection.
what will happen? Let us discuss more in detail. So how it is happening means, so when a beaker containing water is kept over a burner, understand, is kept over a burner like this. When I place the water containing beaker or else vessel, just place it, understanding, over a gas burner, then what will happen, Ra? What will happen? Water at the bottom of the beaker, or near the flame gets heated. Is it yes or no? This bottom, understand?
Yes, sir.
Which
Yes,
is
sir.
near to the understanding, near to the glass flame, near to the flame will gain the heat energy. Means these particles will gain the heat energy. So as we know that if they will gain the heat energy, what will happen, Ra? Expansion will take place. Is it yes or no? Expansion.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Density will increase or decreases? Density will
Increase.
Increase, sir.
Increases.
Increase, sir.
Particles will start moving for each other. Understanding, Mari? Don't get confused.
Yes, sir.
Understanding. So particles will get understanding. They will gain that. They will start understanding heated, and they will start expand and becomes lighter. What will happen? They will expand and
Become.
understanding. So the bottom particles
Yes, sir.
closer or just above the gas flame, they will understanding started expanding, understanding, expanding, and they become what? And they become lighter. Understand?
Li-
Lighter. So lighter,
Yes, sir.
less weight. So that what will happen? Which will float always? Who is having less mass? Correct or not? So
Yes,
these
sir.
particles, they will expand and becomes lighter. So this hot water, which is being lighter, will rises upwards and carries the heat along with it. Do you understand, Ingra? It will carries the.
Yes, sir.
So in this picture, you may observe very carefully the hot particles which are gaining energy just over the burner. They will gain the heat energy and they will expanded, and they become lighter. They will become what, Mari? Hari? They will become
Lighter.
lighter, and they are
Lighter, sir.
moving upwards. Have you noticed it? They have started moving upwards. Is it yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Going upward direction.
Yes.
They are
Yes, sir.
going upward direction. So once this empty space, these particles will go upwards because of the expanding and becomes lighter. So what will happen? The upper particles which are present here, heavy particles, what we can call them? Heavy particles. Understand?
Heavy particles.
They are
Yes,
coming
sir.
downwards. Have you noticed it? They are coming downwards or not? From here like this.
Yes, sir.
Here like this. So, which will looks like a like this. Is it correct or not, Mari? So the upper particles are going like this, lower
Yes, sir.
particles are coming like this. Upper particles are going like this, lower particles are coming like this. Correct or not? Like this,
Yes,
clockwise,
sir.
anti-clockwise. So that is why this is called as convections. What we should call? Convections.
Convection.
So convections, understanding. So that is why this process is called as transfer of heat is called as what we should call convection of
Convection.
convection in water, or the transfer of heat is known as understanding convection. Understanding, Mari, Hari?
Yes, sir. Sir, wait a
Sir.
minute, sir. I'll write.
I will make it.
I'll write that poor conductor.
So the hot water which is being lighter will rises upwards, and along with that, when it is going upwards, what is happening? Already it gains heat energy, so that it will carries that heat energy also along with that. So what is happening now? The cold water from above being denser, understanding it's heavy. Heavy means what, Ramari? Heavy means what is happening? Being
Heavy means density is the higher.
being
Then
denser,
it will sink down, sir.
being denser, so that it will start sink down. Understanding, Hari?
Yes, sir.
Sink down, so that like
Yes,
this, understanding continuously the particles flow will be takes place from bottom to up and up to bottom to up
Yes,
and up
sir.
to bottom. So this cold water again it will gets heated by the burner, and again it will also rises upwards carrying its heat upward direction, and more cold water which is present still, understand, or else low temperature water, again it will start sinking downwards. So this process of water rising upwards, understanding, and cold water sinking downwards takes place again and again, due to which the whole water in the beaker gets heated uniformly. Is it yes or no? Gets heated
Yes, sir.
uniformly. Do you understand it?
Uniformly.
Understand?
Yes, sir. Sir, one doubt, sir.
The circulatory movements only. Understanding what I said? The circulatory movements. Is it looks like a circle or not? Is it looks like a
Yes,
circle?
sir.
Yes. So the circulatory movements is only called as convections. Understanding? Or the main word is convection currents. This is what the most important. Convection currents. Do you understanding, Mahari?
Current.
Convection
Yes,
currents.
sir.
That is why this process is called as what? Convection.
Convection current.
Do you understanding?
Yes, sir.
So that is
Yes,
what
sir.
you should remember. So here I am using a new word called as what? Convection current.
Convection current.
Convection currents. Understand?
Convection current.
Write it. Do
Yes,
you
sir.
understanding how the water is taking place?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now, understanding, right? Convection currents. Convection currents.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Ah,
Sir, convection will also takes place in the air, sir.
air also. Always hot air will
Sir,
go up and cold air will come down. Understand, Mari?
sir, one doubt, sir, like that.
Hmm.
The water molecules will evaporate from upside. It will come down into the water, sir. While it is coming down because of the heat, some water in the droplets will go out, sir.
Yeah.
Then, like that, one process is there, no, sir.
That is only which to called as convection currents. Understand? Suppose see ocean currents like suppose here air is present hot, then this hot air will go up and cold air will come down. Hot air will go up and cold air will come down. Always like this. Cold air is present in understanding. So that is why always this exchanging of hot air and cold air will takes place. This is only called as
Yes, sir.
convection currents of air. Convection currents of air. Actually during torrent.
Yes, sir.
Understanding during tsunami, tornadoes, and all this is what will take place. Tsunami, do you know tsunami?
Okay, sir.
Tsunami,
Yes, sir.
yeah, during that time it will take place. Okay, Mari?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So convection current. Actually, class 7th only it will come, I think. Some chapter will come and natural phenomena will come. I will teach by the time. Don't worry. Okay?
Yes,
Nature.
sir.
Now you write the definition of convection currents, right? Natural phenomena will come, Mari. I will say by the time. Okay? Don't worry.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
The circulatory movements of water, the circulatory movements of water, the circulatory movements of water, the circulatory movement, the circulatory movement of water, understanding, Ra? The circulatory movement of water in the beaker, in the beaker, in the beaker, in which hot water, what is going to happen? It will sink or will rise us, hurry. Hot water, in which hot water
Rises.
and cold water sinks, and cold water sinks, hot water rises, and cold water sinks, cold water sinks again and again, and again. Understanding is known as convection currents. You understanding?
Yes, sir.
Convection currents. Okay, da?
Yes, sir.
Current. So these convection currents transfer heat from understanding water at the bottom of the beaker to the top of the beaker very
Top.
rapidly. Understand? So continuously.
Yes, sir.
Water will go upwards and the top water will come downwards. This process will take place rapidly. So that is why, understand. So in this picture you may observe the arrows I have drawn. Understanding that they have given as a red marks. Have you noticed it in the picture? Red marks they have given. I will
Yes,
erase.
sir.
So that is the important thing. Understanding. So you may observe carefully here. The red marks indicating what? The rapid exchange of hot water and cold water.
Hot water to cold water. Yes, sir.
That is what you should remember. So understanding, Ra? So this rapid movement of understanding. So the arrows which is indicating this given picture shows the direction of convection currents, which takes place during the heating of water. Do you understanding, Ra? So from this
Yes,
we can
sir.
say what? Water in a beaker is heated by
Yes, sir.
what? Is heated by what? Convection current. And
Convection current.
called as what?
Convection current.
That process is called as what?
Process is called convection current.
Convection. Understand that process is called as convection. So
Convection.
you can say that water is a good conductor of understanding, good convector of heat, not conductor. It is a good convector of heat. Is it yes or no? Water is
sir.
not a good conductor. It is not a good conductor, but it is a good Convector. Is it yes or no?
Convector.
Convector
Yes,
means
sir.
change the heat energy. Do you understand it? By moving, by
Yes, sir.
moving. So that is why I can say water is understanding. Water is a poor conductor, but it is a good convector of heat. Understand, Ra? That
Yes,
is
sir.
right. It. Water is
Yes,
a
sir.
good convector. Do you understanding, Mari? Not conductor. It is what?
Yes, sir.
Convector.
Convector.
Understanding? Convector of heat. Convector of heat. Is it okay? Clear? Any doubt? So
Yes,
now
sir.
let us discuss about this
More
water.
than-
Now, water can transfer heat by convection only in the upward direction because hot water being lighter than the cold water, so it will rise upwards in the vessel. Do you understanding, Mari and Hari?
Yes,
So
yes, sir.
transfer of heat by the process of convection only takes place from where to where? Lighter, hot water to cold water, because hot water is being lighter, so that it will go up. Along with that particles, heat energy will transfer, so that cold water, because of being denser, it will come downwards. Understanding, Ra? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That is the reason why heat a vessel. Why we heat a vessel containing water from below by keeping a burner as its bottom. Understanding, Ra? But below it by its.
Yes, sir.
So the heating element of an electric kettle or else something, if we'll fix it at the bottom of the kettle, then understanding we can use that like boiling of tea and everything. How this full liquid will be getting boiled? Understand? By heating only at the bottom, because of by process what? By process of convection.
Convection.
Always, particles being lighter will go upwards and the particles being denser will come downwards. It is continuous
Downward.
again and again and again. Understand? So that is what we used to call
Yes,
as
sir.
convection currents.
Convection current. Yes, sir.
Convection, understanding. Convection, you remember, does not occurs if the water is heated at the top. Understand? Why? Suppose if I start heating at the top, what will happen, Ram? Sir, suppose you observe in this picture. Mari, you tell me. Suppose if I
Sir, it will do ulta, sir. It will do ulta.
no ulta, Mari. You observe carefully. Suppose if I start heating at the bottom, so that lighter particles will go upwards, understand, and denser particles will come downwards. If suppose if I started heating at the top, what will happen, Mari? That particles itself will gain the heat energy. Correct or not?
How,
Yes,
sir?
Yes, sir.
understand, Mari? Hari? Not understanding?
How, sir?
Now you observe very carefully, Mari. I will take it. I will make it. Suppose you see. I am started heating the particles which are present at the top. Means from the top I am heating. Understand, Mare? Not the bottom.
Yes, sir.
So if I am heating bottom, what is happening? Lighter particle will go upwards and denser particles will come downwards. It is what is happening.
Downward.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
very carefully, if I am started heating top, from the top, this is my beaker, and if I started heating from the top like this by catching the Bunsen burner or something, let me close this. If I am started heating, so now reverse, you observe very carefully like this. If I am heating, then this is my container. This is what? Container.
Container.
Mari, which particles will gain the heat energy first? Which particles will gain
Top
the
particles. Top particles.
So if they will gain the heat energy, density will increases or decreases? Density will
Top. It decreases.
yes,
Sir.
decrease.